Good morning students, welcome to eSuvidya. Hope you all are fine and safe. Students, in the previous class we have completed the poem Silver written by the British poet Walter Delamere. So, as we have discussed that Walter Delamere, an English poet, is famous for his work The Listeners, which was a poem, and also he is not only a poet but also a short story writer and a novelist. And in this poem Silver is a sonnet. So as we have discussed students, a sonnet is a 14-line poem written with a specific rhyming pattern. So students, let's sum up the theme of this poem. So this poem is a very calm and peaceful poem with a very deep meaning, describing the beauty of the moon when it falls on different objects, or when the moon passes in the night sky or moves in the night sky, how it turns everything into silver, or how it gives a silvery look to everything has been described in this poem. In the first stage, we have seen that the poet personifies the moon as a lady, and the moon walks the night sky wearing her silver shoes. The moon walks the night sky wearing her silver shoes. And also when the moon is walking in the night sky slowly and silently wearing her silver shoes, then she peers or she looks searchingly at everything. She looks searchingly at everything, and when the moonbeams are falling on the trees and also on the fruits, everything is appearing silvery. And when the moonbeams are passing through the windows of the thatched houses, or the houses that are made of straw, the houses which roof are made of straw are called the thatched houses. So when the moonbeams are passing through the casements or windows, they are windows of these houses, they are also giving a silvery look to these houses. They are giving a very silvery look to the houses. And the poet has described that a dog is sleeping in the kennel, and the dog is sleeping in the kennel just like a piece of log. It is sleeping very peacefully, very silently. What? Like a piece of log, lying there. But its pouch remain outside. And when its pouch remain outside, and when the moonbeams are falling on its pouch, it is also appearing silvery. So then the poet describes about the beautiful doves. When in the night time, the beautiful doves are taking rest in their nest. So they are taking rest in their nest, but their chest is towards the moonlight, and when the moonlight is falling on their chest, it is also appearing silvery. And also when the moonlight is falling on the feathers of this white bird, on the feathers of the doves, then they are also appearing silvery. Then the poet describes about a harvest mouse. A harvest mouse is a species of mouse that lives in the field, and when the moonbeams are falling, and the harvest mouse goes scampering by, means the harvest mouse is moving very quickly. It's very quickly in search of food, and when it is moving very quickly, then automatically what is happened? Then the moonbeams are falling on what? The moonbeams are falling on its clutch, and when the moonbeams are falling on its clutch and also in the edge, then automatically it is also appearing silvery. The moonbeams falling on the mouse which is scampering by, means moving quickly. The harvest mouse is a special species of mouse that lives in the fields, and in the night time it comes out of its hole in order to search the food. And when it is moving in the field, and when it is moving in the field very quickly, then the moonlight is falling on the cloth and the eyes of the harvest mouse, and also it is appearing silvery. It is also appearing the color of silver. It is appearing silvery. Then last we have seen that a moveless fish in the water gleam means a fish remain in a very stable condition, or without any making any movement, the fish remain inside the water, and when the moonbeam fall on the fish, then it also appear, it starts shining, it gleam, it started also shining. And also we have discussed about the silvery reeds. Reeds means grass like water plants. So the grass like water plants remain just near the water bodies, and what happened, just near the stream, and when the moonlight is falling on the stream, the stream is also appearing silvery, and when the moonlight is falling on the water plants or the reeds, grass like water plants or the reeds, then they are also appearing silvery. So you see students, everything appears silvery whenever the moonlight is falling on the various objects of nature. The moonlight never makes any discrimination. The moonbeams never makes any discrimination. It falls on every object of the nature, and when the moonbeams is falling on every object of nature, then everything is appearing silvery. So students, let us discuss some important facts about this poem. I have told you that this poem is a sonnet. So what is a sonnet? A sonnet is a 14-line poem. The poem Silver, written by Walter de la Mare, is a sonnet. So what is a sonnet? A sonnet is a 14-line poem with a fixed rhyme scheme. With a fixed rhyme scheme. So a sonnet is a 14-line poem with a fixed rhyme scheme. So the poem Silver is a sonnet. Then students, we have discussed about personification. We have discussed that the poet make in the first 2 lines of the poem, we have seen that the poet has gone for personification. So what is personification? That means when a non-living thing is brought into life. When a non-living thing is brought into life, we tell this is personification. So what is personification? Personification, the act of giving a human quality, the act of giving a human quality or characteristics to something which is not human, to something which is not human. So students, personification means the act of giving a human quality or characteristics to something which is not human. You see here the moon is not a human, but here the moon is compared with a lady. So it is called personification. Then let us discuss another figure of speech, that is called simile. So what is the simile? A figure of speech involving a figure of a speech involving the comparison of one thing with another thing of a different kind used to make a description more empathic, or vivid. So you see that students, similarly a figure of speech involving the comparison of one thing with another thing of a different kind used to make a description more empathic or vivid. So here you see that a figure of speech involving the comparison of one thing with another thing of a different kind. You see here student, a sleeping dog is compared with a log here. Okay, a sleeping dog is compared with a log. A sleeping dog which is sleeping very peacefully in his kennel is compared with a log. So here the poet uses simile. Then the last, students, what is a couplet? The last two lines of a sonnet is called a couplet. The last two lines of a sonnet is called a couplet. So as we have discussed, this poem is a sonnet. So the last two lines is called a couplet, couplet. The last two lines of a sonnet is called a couplet. It's called a couplet. So a sonnet, a couplet is a what? Or you may tell, a pair of lines with rhyming and words. A pair of lines with rhyming and words. You see here the last two lines of this poem, of this sonnet is called couplet, and you see that they have also rhyming and words like gleam, stream. They are the rhyming and words. So students, can you find out some other rhyming words? Some other rhyming words are just like moon, soon, catch, thatch, peep, sleep, like this. Okay, so students, today we have completed this poem Silver. You recite the poem at least 2-3 times and try to answer the comprehension questions best in this poem. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you in the next class.